Good morning, February 17th, 2023. Rainy day here in Boston, Massachusetts. It's about 60 degrees, so we'll take it. So this week I'm going to continue my research on British imperialism. Focus this week on the research is trade and race relations and how that was impacted by the quest of Britain to find natural resources and trade routes through the Asian and African continents. Race relations and trade pushed imperialism, but racial relations ran diametrically opposed to this. Looking at this from the perspective of Britain's impact on the world and the people they ruled, David Killingray considers the conquering and ruling in stark contrast to what Britain hoped to accomplish. Killingray writes that the resistance of a specific population to British rule and the creation of white-ruled areas such as Asia and Africa. The resistance that was received in these areas towards Britain realized their inability have and hold these areas. As Killingray also writes that British had an increasing awareness of its weaknesses and vulnerability despite the empire being at its zenith and a requirement for a small island country such as Britain to support itself. On the opposite side of that, we have trade. Trade was also a factor, but trade is what pushed racial tensions as Britain moved forth and colonized nations throughout the world. This expansion of the British Empire, this is when imperialism was at its core, and British trade expansion is what drove the British move to take over and colonize nations, not only for natural resources, but also for land. British colonies made up the largest part of British expansion, which helped an island nation economically. As Theodoros Demetrios points out in his writings, British colonies, which contributed to the lion's share of British expansion, provided the largest material contribution to British industrialization and economic growth. This also provided needed ecological relief in the form of land. The land grab is what grew and drove racial tensions in those countries. It was also British's drive to control these countries under their rule. Looking at the outcome on this imperialism, trade is a factor that was sparked the most tensions within the empire. The quest for Britain and marginalize those peoples who they conquered and felt they needed to control, and whose land was colonized by Britain. None of this would have happened without the need for resources and British's drive to improve their own situation through, once again, natural resources in their economy and further industrialization of the nation. I find it interesting how all these perspectives fit together. It'll be interesting to look further into this topic. Thank you.